Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're taking a really hard look at the stark contrast between the harsh reality of living paycheck to paycheck and the actual wealth-building secrets of the top 1%. You know the drill, right? So many of us are trapped in this exhausting cycle. We work hard, get paid, spend it all just to survive, and then sit around anxiously waiting for the next check with absolutely zero breathing room. Well, today, we're going to distill the core research and break down exactly how you can flip that script and start managing your money like a multimillionaire.
Take a look at this fascinating breakdown of who actually makes up the wealthiest people in the world. Get this, 75% are entrepreneurs, 15% are investors, 7% are inheritors, and 3% are athletes or artists. Notice anything missing? There is a massive, glaring 0% for employees who just earn a standard salary. No way around it, this tells us something foundational. 0% of the wealthiest people build their fortunes merely by trading their time for a paycheck. The true secret to wealth isn't just grinding harder at your day job. It's about owning assets that do the heavy lifting for you in the background.
Which brings us to a rather uncomfortable truth. If you don't own something, you are what's owned. Wow, that is a pretty stark reality, isn't it? The modern illusion of freedom is that you get paid for your work. But think about it. If every single dollar immediately goes right back out the door to pay for your basic food, shelter, and water, you're essentially trapped in that exact same cycle of survival. To break this illusion, we have to start fighting back by buying things that actually increase in value over time.
To fight back, we're going to use a highly actionable framework known as the 25-15-50-10 rule. Regardless of your current income, here are the 4 pillars we're going to cover today. 25% for growth, 15% for stability, 50% for essentials, and 10% for rewards.
First up, Pillar 1, 25% growth fueling your wealth. And just to be clear, we aren't talking about personal growth meditation retreats here. We are talking about actively purchasing financial assets that work for you.
And this brilliantly illustrates why starting early is a total game changer. Consider the tale of 2 investors. Billy starts investing just $200 a month at age 20. Phil waits until he's 30 and then tries to catch up by investing $300 a month. By age 60, Phil has actually put in more of his own raw cash, but he ends up with about $678,000. Billy, on the other hand, he invested significantly less of his own money overall, but walks away with over $1.2 million. That's nearly a $600,000 difference. This showcases the dramatic, absolutely undeniable math of compound growth.
So where does that 25% actually go? Well, it all comes down to a really simple risk scale. Down at the low-risk end, you have broad index funds and real estate. Next up in the medium tier, high-income skills, think coding or sales, then high-risk individual stocks, and finally your moonshots like crypto or alternative investments. If you are a beginner, the absolute strong recommendation is to firmly build your foundation on that lower end. Stick to safe index funds that track the whole market and focus on learning valuable skills. Seriously, leave the high-risk moonshots alone until you've established a rock-solid base.
Here's how this builds into an actual automated strategy you can set up today. The classic 3-fund portfolio. You put 60% into a U.S. stock index like the S&P 500, 30% into international stocks, and 10% into bonds. Think of it like a car. The U.S. and international funds are your engines. They're going to drive your long-term growth. The bonds, they act as a stabilizing force to smooth out the bumpy ride of the stock market. You just set this up to auto-invest on payday, and then you literally just leave it alone to work its magic.
Moving right along to Pillar 2, 15% stability, building your safety net. Because imagine taking out a loan for a VW Golf, and 3 months later, the engine just completely blows up on you. With zero safety net, that is a one-way ticket to massive stress and high-interest debt that can set you back a whole year.
That kind of disaster perfectly encapsulates this quote. Most people don't have a money problem, they have a stability problem. Look, if you're pouring all your spare cash into the stock market with no margin for error, you are completely exposed. One unexpected car repair or a sudden medical bill can force you to sell your investments at a major loss simply because the market happened to be down that week. Bottom line, your stability fund protects your growth fund.
So what's the magic number for this bulletproof shield? 5 months. That is your absolute target. And just to be crystal clear, that is 5 months of your essential baseline expenses, calculated strictly from your core living costs. We're talking rent, groceries, basic utilities, the bare minimum to keep the lights on. You tally that up, multiply it by 5, and that becomes the safety net that protects you from life's sudden emergencies.
So the crucial point is how you treat this money. Listen closely. You do not invest it. Here are the 3 non-negotiable rules for your stability fund. Number 1, it must be easy to access within 24 hours. Number 2, zero risk exposure. Keep it completely away from the volatile stock market or crypto. And number 3, it must always be earning. Park it in a high-yield savings account where it can earn a safe 4 to 5% interest. That way, inflation doesn't quietly eat away its value over time.
Now, I know building a 5-month safety net sounds daunting, but there are 3 clever tactics to algorithmically stack this fund quickly without relying on sheer willpower. First, the paycheck sweep. That means automating that 15% transfer the exact second you get paid. Second, the replacement promise. If you use the emergency fund, your very next paycheck tops it back up. And third, save by spending, using roundup apps or cashback rewards to seamlessly trickle extra dollars into your safety net without you even noticing. Once your growth and stability are locked in, we hit Pillar 3, 50% essentials, covering needs, not egos. Because surprisingly enough, over 60% of high earners still live paycheck to paycheck, entirely due to unchecked lifestyle creep.
There is a stark contrast between being fake rich and real rich. The fake rich persona, they're dripping in designer gear, driving a leased car for status, but they've got about $43 in the bank and a pile of overdue credit card debt. The real rich persona, on the other hand, might be walking around in basic, unbranded clothes, but they have a fully funded stability account and thousands quietly compounding away in investments. The data makes it super clear. The illusion of wealth is worn right on your sleeve, but actual, true financial security is hidden.
To intercept that dopamine-driven spending, you want to use the 7-day rule to automatically protect your 50% essentials cap. Step 1, wait 7 days for any impulse buy. Honestly, the urge usually just fades away. Step 2, choose quality value over brand marketing. Please don't pay a massive premium just for a fancy logo. And step 3, honestly ask yourself if it actually improves your life. If it doesn't, let's be real. It's just about impressing someone else or chasing a temporary high.
And that brings us to our 4th and final pillar, 10% rewards, sustaining the journey. Because let's face it, saving without joy just feels like a punishment. Did you know a shocking 92% of people completely ruin their budgets after going on intense saving sprints? To prevent this, you need a release valve, and we call it the Joy Jar. This is a completely separate, preloaded bank account that receives exactly 10% of your income strictly for guilt-free fun. Think of it like a psychological cheat meal. When the money is in there, you can spend it on whatever brings you happiness without a single ounce of guilt. It totally prevents burnout and ensures that your long-term wealth-building process remains comfortable and, most importantly, consistent. To really maximize its impact, aim to spend that 10% on high-value, guilt-free categories like vacations, hobbies, nights out, and gifts. The research shares a remarkable cautionary tale here, and honestly, I've been there myself. Working so relentlessly that it actually leads to stress-induced health issues, like getting a nasty case of shingles and totally ignoring your friends. It's miserable. That proves exactly why spending on hobbies for your passion, nights out to build your social network, and gifts to strengthen relationships are actually vital financial investments in your overall well-being. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a pivotal question to really reflect on. Are you prioritizing looking rich today or experiencing true wealth tomorrow? By taking control of your income using this structured 4-part blueprint, 25% growth, 15% stability, 50% essentials, and 10% rewards, you can finally stop chasing the exhausting illusion of wealth and start building the reality of it.